What's up, Libra Risings? This is your video. Welcome. Okay, so we're going to talk about your story, okay? And we're going to talk about which vehicle you ride in throughout life, which, what which land in the video game that you chose. Okay, that's what we're going to talk about, Libra Rising. And of course, it's going to vary with the different planets that you have and the aspects, if you have a stellium, etc., etc. But essentially, this is a light outline on what your life is like, okay? So my Libra babies, y'all are ruled by Venus, okay? Venus, she loves a moment, okay? Venus is the goddess of appreciation, support, people say love, things that we find beautiful. It's the reason why we want to even be here on earth, okay? The reason why we even want to stay around. But in Libra, it's the reason why we want to connect to people, okay? So this is a sign of connection. Libra is an air sign. You guys are cardinal, meaning you guys initiate things, you begin things. This is why you guys most of the time are very, hey, what's up? Or people feel like they can talk to you. Even if you have other placements where you don't feel like you want to talk to people and you don't feel that you're that much of a people's person, this is the aura, okay, in which you're riding around in life. People pick up this energy from you. And usually with Libra rising, very good looking people, very beautiful people, because Libra is the scale. It also rules the skin, it rules the kidneys. So it's about purification, okay? And it's about balance. So a lot of times these people are very symmetrical in their facial features and their body, usually things like that. Now, if you have issues with your skin or anything like that, this is going to be an imbalance, okay? Especially if you have your Venus is out of balance, okay? Your Venus is not in a healthy space. So this is why astrology is super important, because you can really look to specific houses and see where that's sitting, and you can help move that energy around. And once you start implementing this stuff, you can see real changes in your life. So yes, so when it comes to your personal issues, Libra, you're always talking to people about your issues most of the time. Okay, you're always trying to get advice from somebody. Libra's always, and it's so interesting because it's flipped, all right? So now Libra is in the first house. You're very charming. All right, you're very social, usually. You're very connected. You're very gift of gab, usually. Like, you know how to speak your way into things and out of things, okay, depending on what kind of placements that you have. So this is all about your personal issues and your personal things. So with Venus sitting there, you are definitely a person who needs to feel supported in your personal issues. You need to feel heard, and you need to feel listened to, when it comes to what you got going on. And a lot of the times it's relationship things that you have going on. It's usually something to do with other people. But you will surely see, once we tell your story, it's all going to lead right back to you. Libras are the only sign with no animal or human. You guys have scale. So you guys have to think about the symbolism with that, It's the first sign that after the first to the sixth house, where you're learning about yourself and who you are, that you start taking yourself and relating to other people. So this is why Libra rising, it's very interesting. You guys have an image that you want to uphold. Whatever that image may be to you, you definitely have an image that you want to uphold, because this is what Libra is about. Libra is about, how do I look, but now next to you. So this is why you always have to talk and relate to other people. Now, in the second house, you have Scorpio. And what I usually do is I break it down. What I want you guys to focus on for this video specifically is the 1st, the 4th, the 7th, and the 10th, because these are your pillars, okay? These are the foundation of who you are, why you do what you do, all right? And as a Libra rising, this is your vehicle in which you're driving throughout life. So depending on what it is, it has to be beautiful, okay? It has to be aesthetically pleasing. It has to look good. You want people to talk about it, okay? These Libra risings, You guys deal with FOMO, like not being involved in certain things, you know. Stillness is not a thing that you guys are very keen on, right? And that's something that you guys have to master in this lifetime in some type of way, shape, or form. So in the second house, this is you Scorpio. So this is quite interesting, depending on what your placements are. Very intense relationship with your body. Very mysterious when you speak. Okay, it's like very enigmatic, and people just want to know more. Okay, because this is sitting in the throat now. Scorpio's here, and there's kind of a pull here and a mystery, you know, surrounding your aura now. You already have Venus. All right, so now you have this magnetism in your second house. Also, when it comes to money, you have, you know, control issues with your money, you know, with your bag, and how you spend your money and things like that, and how you think about money, and how you have ownership. So that's a conversation that you definitely have to have. Are you able to surrender? Are you able to let go? Okay, this is something that you really have to start. You have to start valuing evolution, you know, and change, and the crisis of it all, you know, because Libra risings want everything to be perfect and kind of just, you know, like good, but it's not like that. It's things get crazy sometimes, you know, things get deep. Scorpio, second house. So, and you learn that through your family values. You learn that growing up. You learn that through experiences with your body in your lifetime, for sure. You know, depending on what's going on there, it really will tell the story on where you are with your body. And anytime, you know, heavy Scorpio placements, but definitely Scorpio in the second house tied, you know, to the body, you have to be very careful, because this is, you know, when you're exchanging sexual energy, it can create some soul ties, like for real, and some karma that he wasn't ready for. The third house, okay, is Sagittarius, and this is like your neighborhood, your cousins, okay, your siblings, things like that. But it's also your efforts and your skills and stuff like that. You just have this wisdom. There's something that you just know, and it's interesting because you might come off very indecisive, you know, with that Libra there, because Libra is air, it doesn't attach to anything. So you might come off like, oh, you playing both sides of the fence. You know how to weigh things out, you know what I'm saying? You just want peace and balance and harmony and all this other stuff. Because, you know, third house, you just know there's something more to it, you know. And I feel like it's interesting with Libra risings. Sagittarius in the third is your speech, you know. So Sagittarius there is, you guys know, and you guys are funny as shit. Like, y'all have a good sense of humor most of the time. You know how to talk your shit. You know, you give off like a mentor like type of energy sometimes, like you just know things, you know. And Libras do know things because you experience a lot through your relationships with people, right? With people in general. You guys don't function well without other people in general, period. So that's something we'll talk about in a second. So, but Sagittarius, yeah, on the third, your idea of a trip is like going to, you know, Italy on the weekend for like some authentic pizza and a great cappuccino for a date. That's like what she would love to do, like whisk me away. And that's casual for you. It's casual. So then the fourth house is interesting because you have Capricorn there. So Libras, they smile on the outside, right? But most times it was hard on the inside. It was hard because now you have Earth in a water house, and that usually, you know, absorbs and sucks out the moisture and the nourishment. And Capricorn here is dry, usually, and straight up, and hard work and structure, and, you know, you had to get things done, and it was growing up fast type of thing. A lot of responsibility early. A lot of pressure early, if anything, you know, and even if it wasn't that, it was just a lot of pressure early. It was just a lot early. This is why this image thing, right? That's why I was saying the image that you're upholding. Your life is going to be questioning what image are you upholding constantly. yeah, so that's on your 4th, Capricorn. Probably interesting issues with your father. Usually Libra risings, you know, marital issues in the family. Okay. Usually separation, depending on where your moon and your sun is placed. Your moon and your sun tell you the relationship between the parents, you know, especially, but with Libra, like I said, it's a split scale. And usually Libra heavy placements deal with some kind of separation in their family at some point. And then on, you know, so let me talk about it. So the pillar of the 4th house. So the first, you know, like I said, the first house is you give off this charming air and like, you know, people and you're very connected. And, you know, you take your home seriously when it comes to your home and your legacy and your family and your name and your last name. You take that very seriously, whatever you're trying to build around that. It's very something that you're structuring, that you're working on, most likely in private, long term, to really build something out. Build probably a family in your image, you know, most times. This is what you guys are trying to recreate and rebuild. So, you know, this is a pillar. This is, you have air and you have earth. So there's no water yet. So there's no emotion yet, you know. You guys are in your head about things and outside of the body. And then the earth, then you know, it's just the very dry form. So it can just be like, you know, you guys could actually be, depending on your placements, you could be nice on the outside and like an asshole parent at the inside. You know, Capricorn on the 4th, because that also shows your parenting style, the 4th house, and the type of parent you're going to be. And there's definitely good to have structure and order, absolutely. But then there's a line as well. You know what I'm saying? And Capricorn there is you might want to go as hard on your kid as you were made and your life was, but you have to be careful with that, you know, because all kids are not created the same and they don't all take things in the same. And that's why you're watching astrology videos anyway, to figure it out. So yes, and then the 5th house, okay? This is Aquarius. This is also, you know, your childhood and your fun and things like that. And this is also children, right? So there could be kind of a detachment when it comes to your kids as well. So this is why it kind of goes in hand. You know, you really have to make sure you're working that 4th house, 5th house energy and bringing in that compassion and teamwork, you know, instead of, you know, the dry detached side and alienating your children or alienating, you know, especially if you have a casual romance, you might have a tendency to just be aloof and act like you don't know what's going on, but you really like somebody, you know. But Aquarius in the 5th house is very innovative, creative, okay, probably really good with like instruments and singing and things like that too. Comes kind of natural to you guys because, I didn't even say it. Libra rules the artist. I'm sorry, y'all. Libra rules the artist, duh, Venus. So Venus is art. And Libra to me, you know, Libra, that's like art, like really art. And then, you know, I think Venus and Pisces is like fine art, things like that, you know. Heavy Neptune in Libra, something like that is like fine art, things like that. So, yeah, the 5th house is Aquarius. Like I said, you probably have a bunch of computers and a bunch of things that you're watching this on. You probably subscribe to this channel on like several different platforms just because type of thing. So yeah, just technology in the home, stuff like that is very important to you too. Then we have the 6th house. The 6th house, you have, excuse me, you have Pisces. So this is quite interesting. You have to make sure that your daily routine, that you're going to have some structure and some order, because if not, you're just going to be all over the place, right? Pisces in the 6th, this is how your every single day goes about. This is how you treat your body too. And this is why you have to be careful. You have Scorpio in the 2nd, right? You have the Libra 1st, so you're always connecting with people. So you might not necessarily, you know, depending on how you feel and how healthy you are in your life and what transformation you're at and what stage you're at, you know, that's the conversation that you need to be having, because, you know, Pisces on the 6th, you have to be careful with your routine and what you do every day and make sure that you're paying attention to what you're making happen. Making sure that you throw in some spirituality every day, some meditation, you know, and also some alone time, because these are things that you need. As a Libra rising, you're never going to know who you are until you spend time alone, until you dive in deep. This is why you have Scorpio on the second. Mean that you have to have an intense, you know, cathartic, transformational relationship with your body and with your values and things like that. And you know, your self-esteem is Scorpio. So, you know, make sure that you're not using control and manipulation as measures for your self-esteem, and make sure you're using your healing aspects, you know, of your Scorpio and your Pisces, and you're not just indulging and not having any boundaries at all, because Pisces on the 6th is having no kind of discipline, no boundaries, just doing whatever you want. Instead, you can make sure that, you know, if you do want to sleep in, or if you do want to daydream, then make a time where you're going to sit there and daydream, but allow discipline to be your friend in this lifetime, okay, with Pisces on the 6th for sure. So then on the 7th house, you guys have Aries. This is why you meet people who are very fiery and passionate and motivate you. And hopefully they're not assholes, okay? Like, you don't want to run into people who are super arrogant and just stubborn as fuck and only care what they want to do, you know, stuff like that. That's the low vibrational Aries. That's the people that you pulling in who are just being dicks because they feel like being dicks, and that ain't the vibe. You know, the high vibrational Aries is gonna help you stand up for yourself. They're gonna be like, nah, like, you get to say what you want to say. I totally understand. Like, I respect you for who you are and what you feel and how you think. Because as a Libra rising, you need people who are gonna help point you in the direction of yourself. You know what I'm saying? And not in the direction of yes man. You don't need no kind of yes man friend in your life whatsoever as a Libra rising, okay? Because you have the tendency to pull in all kinds of people, and the you know, the art of compromise and the whole balance and peace and all that other stuff. Yeah, like, not if resentment is knocking on the door. Like, we're not doing that, right? We got to live our authentic truth. And this is why when you have Aries there, you're asked for, you know, rawness. So you're going to want to be around people who push you. Most likely your partner is going to be very Aries-like, okay, like a leader, pioneer. They might be muscular or go to the gym a lot, work out with you, you know. That's something good for you. Also, your Pisces on the 6th, somebody who helps you keep your body in line and like keep your mind in line and everything in line, because Pisces on the 6th, you can have a tendency to just do whatever you want and and this has nothing to do with how your body looks. It has everything to do with how your body feels. Are you sleeping well? Are you eating well, resting well, etc., right? So then on the 8th, you have Taurus. So this is interesting because this is the crisis house, right? So this is Taurus here, and you can hoard and hold on to things. You can hold on and not emotionally want to be, you know, transformed by anything, and not want to change and not want to evolve past what you're comfortable doing. You know, with Taurus here, we're just slow to move. We're slow to make the first move. We're slow to make the investment without seeing the ROI. But you know, the thing is that you have to tap into the dark side. Like, you can't just, everything is, you know, Venus wants what she wants. Venus also overindulges, and a lot of people try to paint Venus as like she don't, but we can't bask in every single energy and just overdo whatever we want to do, right? So this is why Venus is also here in the 8th for you. So this is very interesting, because you have a light side of Venus, which is your Venus first, and then you have the dark side of Venus. So you're here to tap into both of those energies, okay, in a healthy way, in a way that makes you feel safe, of course. And a way that you can do that is definitely, you know, making sure that you're using your sensuality when it comes to your sex life and things like that, because your sensuality really matters. And tapping into your senses, you know, your smell and your sight and your sound and all that kind of stuff is very important for you guys, because those things are kind of like, you know, part of your desire. So make sure you're tapping into that and loving that part as well about life. Okay, so yeah, and creating some, you know, the good thing is that when a crisis does come, you guys usually don't have a tendency to freak out. You guys can handle it. You know, that's a really good thing, because Taurus there is like, nah, we're gonna be okay. We're gonna make this happen. You know, so yeah. Then you have Gemini on the 9th, right? So Gemini on the 9th is all about, now you have, you know, your philosophies and your wisdom and your integrity and stuff like that. You could kind of be all over the place. You know, this can give you a little bit, you have air here again, so this gives you kind of like a detached thing, and gives you kind of this like, you know, you're not really making a decision, you're not really holding on to it, you know, and also giving you more non-commitment energy, because Aries as well on the 7th is non-commitment. Okay, Gemini on the 9th is non-commitment energy. So it's just, you know, you have to definitely have a conversation with yourself about that. Make sure that you're not just talking to talk and saying whatever you want to say, making sure that your Mercury is grounded, and making sure that you're basing it off of your integrity and your truth, and not just off of what you heard. Because, you know, Gemini in the 9th can just be based off of what you heard, and you go from one person to one person to one person to one person, and you never really formulate your own thought and your own truth and your own dynamics. You know what I'm saying? So make sure that you dig in a little bit deeper with Gemini here on the 9th. But you can also have definitely like a million teachers. Okay, you probably like watch a million YouTube people and have a million books and have a million this and million, just like a lot of resources, a lot of books. You know, you could have gone to a lot of schools, definitely like that, just switch schools, switch classes, switch majors. Like, okay, we're doing this, we're all over the place because we're indecisive. Okay, and then on the 10th house, this is your other pillar. We have Cancer. So this is, you have to have a place that you work at that you care about and that cares about you. You know, you have to feel something that's welcoming and family oriented, and most likely you work with women, or women will uplift you or be your major, you know, clients, things like that. You might work with your mother if you have a heavy moon placement, you know, things like that. But definitely something in the nurturing and nourishing aspect, of place where you're taking care of people, because you have to learn what it's like to actually take care of people and dive in deeper to your emotions, because they were stripped of you from when you were a childhood. You know what I'm saying? When you were a child, this is you know, you're the body is where it's very intense for you. Where you're establishing security, and where you think you're getting emotional security is through your job. So you definitely need something where you can also use your emotions too. That's very important. Not just somewhere where you maybe like do the mundane and, you know, calculate things. You actually have to feel something. This is why, you know, Libra rising is the artist. Most likely you have to feel some type of way. So this is very important. Make sure that you're feeling connected and you know, don't get too psychologically attached to your career either. This can also be very dangerous, because you could be like, oh, my career, you know, you could think it can make or break you. No, just let each career nourish you and nurture you until you're done with it, and then move on to the next one. You know what I'm saying? Make sure that you actually come out of the birthing canal and out of the womb and learn something out of the process that you have with that career that you know, transitioning to, because you don't know where you're going to end up, for real. So that's the mystery of life. That's where you have to, you know, let it do its thing. So then on the 11th house, we have Leo, okay? I'll be done in a second, okay? We have Leo, okay? And then that's on the 11th house. So your friends and your networks and people that are going to be around you and things like that, these are going to be, you know, you like to be around royalty. You like to be around people who look good and, you know, probably have money and who are famous and hold some kind of, you know, weight, and who stand out, who show who they are, who are creative, who are, you know, people who take space, you know, and shine. And when you go out at night, honey, you go out, honey. We get into it, okay? This is why I be telling you, you have those other water placements in those earth houses, so be careful. Don't grab onto no addiction that, honey, okay? Then, that's with the 11th house, that's Leo. Definitely that's where the sun is as well. So you can definitely be thinking about community, and you might want to open up your own like philanthropy and things like that, you know, your own cause. And then lastly, the 12th house is Virgo. I'm like, Virgo, right? Yeah, Virgo. So the last house, this is your subconscious, this is subconscious collective. This is a lot of things, your fantasies, your fears, how you deal with faith, how you deal with forgiveness, and compassion. It's a lot of those things, where your boundaries might be, where they might not be, in Virgo's here. So, you have a tendency to overthink and overanalyze and probably pull up receipts and secret from people. Okay, you are probably very studied, but in private. Like, you're very smart, but like low key in the back smart. Like, you almost feel like you don't have to show off your knowledge with Virgo there. Virgo in the 12th is like, you're smart. You don't have to prove it to people. I think that you find more value in connecting with people. Obviously Venus is driven. So you find more value in that, and that might be what's harder for you to do. You're like, anybody could read a book, but you also really much value people's mind. Also, you value perfectionism, and that could be a good and a bad thing, because it depends on what your idea of perfect is, So that's something you definitely have to rework and redefine. And when it comes to your spirituality, you have to create a routine out of it and create a discipline out of it as well, and create something tangible from it, and make it real for yourself. Because where Virgo there, that's where you have to be of service. So make sure that you're really being of service in that, and that's where you're serving yourself first, is your spirituality. Virgo is about serving yourself first. That's what a lot of people don't really realize. Even though it's the sign of service, it's about you first. Okay, honey? And definitely have some kind of issues around, just not issues, but conversations around sexuality, okay? Because this is the Virgin and this is the 12th house. So you might have like fantasies about, sex, but you don't really want to express it for fear of being judged. Because this is a you don't want to be judged for your fantasies. And I feel like in any intimate, close relationship, any long-term relationship that you'll be getting into your life, that's something you should want to divulge, and something that you would want to be comfortable sharing, okay? And then you would have to see where your Mercury is, obviously, Gemini in the 9th house, and so this is why you're gonna learn a lot of things depending on what the synastry is, honey. You're gonna learn a lot of things, especially if you got your Virgo. If you have a Virgo in the 12th, I'm gonna log out, Libra Rising. Good luck. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.